Warning, this podcast contains some bullshit. What's up, everyone, and welcome to the SC on TV podcast for Westworld, Season 1, Episode 7, Trompe. I'm your host, Dom. With me is John, Mike, and Nikki. How's it going?
Hi.
So good.
So good. Except for that moment when we found out Bernard was a robot.
I loved that moment. I was like, fuck yeah.
What's behind this? What's behind this door?
What door?
Internal screaming commenced.
Yeah, that was the moment that gave it away.
Yes, that was the moment that gave it away. And
awesome.
My initial thought was honestly, wait, he can't see. Oh my, and then commenced internal screaming.
Yeah.
So good. So
Now,
good. I wasn't expecting that, and then it happened, and I was like, this show is my all-time favorite show ever.
I want to say I did see it coming, and I want to say I didn't see it coming, but we did earlier. If you go back, it's like in our second or third episode. I think it was our second episode. We thought Bernard may have been a robot. We
thought a lot of people could have been a robot.
We kind of guessed it. We were saying somebody on the staff had to be, and if it was going to be somebody, it was going to be Bernard. And then we very quickly dismissed it and never had that thought again.
We had reasoning for that too, and I don't remember it.
We did.
Go back and watch us.
We were saying, oh, wouldn't it be crazy if one of the staff, it's like almost too predictable, like. So I want to say we saw it coming, because we kind of did. But then we never thought of it again, so it did get us.
Well, we got so caught up with like the past, present thing timeline, so
the
that
timeline
kind of
shit
took
with
over our attention.
the Men in Black and William.
Past, present, and the whole Teresa stealing from her own company, or so it seemed like at first.
Mm-hmm.
That all took the forefront stage, and the whole staff as a robot thing kind of went out the window.
Yeah. So with this, I started going in my mind, I'm like, okay, so if Bernard's a robot, then anytime we see just Bernard by himself in the building doesn't necessarily mean it's present day. But that got squashed really quickly when Ford was like, no, he was not around during those times.
Yeah. I think Bernard had Ford planted him knowing that this shit was coming from the company.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Now, my question to you, is he building a robot of Teresa now?
Yes, I think so. Like, that's after that whole scene, I'm like, now I get it. That robot he's building is Teresa to replace her so she doesn't show up as dead. But I quashed that theory, or missing. But I don't. Wow, I'm trying to remember why I said that wasn't it. That'll come to me. Like, I came up with that theory and then I dismissed it, and I forget why.
It would make sense, because how is he going to explain that she's
gone?
Mm-hmm.
When the board of directors, the director is there. I don't know. Like, he would just be like, "Oh yeah, she just took some vacation time."
She's the one in head of taking the backup information. That like she's. What's her face?
Yeah, well, we also found out there's a reason why she was in charge of the implants and the uplink and all that. It's because she was doing a backup for the park because of Ford.
Yeah, they want him to retire.
Yeah, forced retirement. So it wasn't anything malicious. Which
forced retirement?
No.
Malicious.
I meant the data uplink.
No.
Yeah.
Was not anything malicious. But yeah, the forced retirement definitely is because she conspired with Miss Hale for a blood sacrifice. Now, is it possible that Miss Hale is also a robot?
No, I think she's just a greedy human.
Uh-huh. I think so.
She likes banging robots.
We did see her banging Hector.
For fun.
for funsies. And she was operating him. She had knowledge that he was a robot. She knew that much. But I'm wondering if this is all a setup for Ford to, kind of get Teresa in the... What?
Whoa. Okay. It just hit me. Blood sacrifice was Miss Hale's words to Teresa. It required... And Ford said it right back to Teresa at the end. This requires a blood...
Well, Ford was in the same room when Hale said it to her, right?
No. Hale said that to Teresa in private.
No,
when
shit.
Yeah, that was a private conversation.
No.
That was a private conversation when she walked
Hector was in the room, though.
Hector was in the room.
Hector was in the room, yeah. So
Hector...
Ford could have been spying through Hector.
Oh, what a pervert!
I don't like it.
It's watching through Hector's eyes.
To my mind.
Yeah.
I mean, I love it, but Jesus Christ, guys, that's...
No, I'm just thinking it's a possibility that Miss Hale could be a robot as well. Just because we saw her banging another robot doesn't mean anything.
No. I mean...
Definitely not, but...
The robots, they do it all the time, it seems. So, like,
I mean, she could just be really forward, because another thing with the robots is they have no shame. They walk around completely naked, like, that it's in their programming. They don't care.
Yeah,
Miss Hale also answered the door that way. For Teresa in a meeting that she called, so it wasn't a surprise that Teresa was coming, So
what's weird?
Yeah.
I don't know. She seems like one of those cocky, I have all the power, entitled bitches that says, like she has no consequences with her actions kind of thing.
That can easily be programmed.
I mean, look how complex Bernard was. He was designing other hosts, and he's a host. Like,
yeah.
I mean, Jesus, he didn't even know he was a host.
No, did you see the confliction that was going through his head when he realized what he was? Like,
no, I can't be one of them. No,
I have a kid and a wife.
Just like, that's enough, Bernard. Like, basically shut yourself down before you have,
just calm down before you have a malfunction.
I mean, because the episode even started off with the dream sequence of Bernard and his son Charlie.
That's true, it did.
Well, one, we know the robots are capable of dreams of some sort, and we learned last episode that they purposely not turned up, their intelligence isn't turned up. So,
I mean, Bernard's was up a little bit higher than the 14 it's allowed to be.
I have a feeling that his was set to max, as, well as a lot of complicated personality programming.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ford's obviously been doing more than what he's been letting other people know, and even in the slightest sense.
I mean, that whole scene, I was, like right before Teresa got, her head smashed into the wall, like he's talking about like, Arnold and I built this. This was our dream. And I was expecting like another man to walk on from off camera and be like, did you expect to take it from us? Like, I'm sitting there like expecting something like that.
I'm kind of with Dom. I think Dom's the one that mentioned it. Arnold's in the middle of the maze somewhere. Ford probably didn't want to kill his partner, but decided to lock him up instead. And Arnold's been, somehow putting out like hints here and there so that, it's more of a game and people will try to find what's in the middle of the maze so that he can get out.
Perhaps.
I mean, that's what
we know. We now know Ford is very aware of everything that's going on, and we also know that Ford has knowledge of the maze because he had the conversation with the Man in Black.
Probably created it.
So it's very possible that it is something intentionally put in there by Ford. It's kind of like an elaborate ARG within the game. I don't know.
Yeah.
So. But Ms. Hale, she's a board member for Delios, which is the same company that William has talked about in the past.
Has he mentioned it by name, though?
Yes.
Okay.
Well,
I don't remember.
He has not, but his friend
Logan.
Logan.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't remember that, but
That
I'll
was
take your words
that
for
was before they got Logan got messed up with those people, and Dolores and William left with this guy.
it.
Forget
Okay.
his name.
Lawrence.
Yes,
Lawrence.
Larry.
Mhm.
Larry.
Yeah, because we had the whole thing with William, this episode with the train full of explosives. They're in like the Indian scalping territory, and then he's kind of like falling in love with Dolores here. It's kind of really weird, and she's falling in love with him back, but she's programmed to do that, so that's not as weird. But we find out that he's actually engaged to Logan's sister.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That was information we've known from the very get-go.
That's information we've known for a few episodes now.
Okay, I must have missed
That
that
was-
somewhere.
As soon as William and Logan came off that train, they were talking about his engagement to his sister.
Yeah.
This is before we even knew they were working in the same company together.
Yeah, we didn't know they were coworkers. It was initially led that, this is like I'm going out with my brother's boyfriend for some like guy time or something.
Mm-hmm.
Was kind of the first hint I got.
Kind of like a little bachelor thing.
Well, either
Yeah,
way,
kind of like a bachelor party.
either way, he tells Dolores for the first time, and she didn't take it too well. Until he followed her into the train car, and then she took it kind of well.
Boy, did she.
No, yeah.
I mean, armored train going through scalping territory, and you
Like
decide
us.
Huge
Yeah,
turn on.
exactly. Huge turn on. Like, let us both get completely vulnerable and screw each other in this train car. We can get attacked at any second.
With
And we'll have to fight
explosives in
naked.
it. Yeah.
With explosives in it.
Made a lot of sense.
You know,
So I'm
but,
assuming his marriage didn't end up so great as a result.
yeah.
I'm going to imagine not. Now, at the end of that whole thing, they arrive at a town, it seems, right? No, they didn't. What am I
No,
thinking?
they got stopped by.
Yeah, they got
what,
stopped
What
by-
did they
never
call
mind.
them? The Confederados?
The Confederados, yeah. They're
Yeah.
like... That they seem like outlaws who are leftover Confederates.
Right. So, but I thought it was a really cool way of taking them out. They just like the Confederados have a rail gun that they just go down the line of the train, and then somehow after hitting the entire train, a horse survives, which the horse couldn't exactly duck. So the horse made it, and then they propped. Was that a robot filled with explosives or a mannequin?
No, it
That was his. Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
his buddy, the one that that Logan and William saved and like who led them to Lawrence how many episodes ago?
Okay.
He filled the body with all the nitro. So yeah, that was a robot.
Okay.
Not anymore.
How did they fill it without knowing that there was electronical parts? Just kind of like just try and shove it down his throat? Is that how
Again,
that works?
I don't think
every
it was
orifice.
real nitro. I don't think it was actual nitroglycerin because, when they took the shipment from those Union soldiers 3 episodes ago, Logan opens the box, grabs the bottle, and shakes it.
Yeah. And if you guys have ever seen Lost, you could barely walk with nitroglycerin.
Fun fact, when they manufacture nitroglycerin, as soon as the chemical reaction is done, assuming it hasn't exploded already, the first thing they do is put in a stabilizing agent, thus turning it into a solid.
Mm-hmm.
They do that within seconds. That's how, fucking volatile it is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the process of making it can make it explode.
Which is just great.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to pick up a bottle of it and shake it.
Mm-hmm. Sounds fantastic.
Mhm.
Which led to a massive battle, which was really fun. You have the classic Wild West horse, shoot off, showdown, whatever, into, the Indian territory, Native American territory, and led to them coming in and basically saving William, Dolores, and Lawrence.
Am I allowed to say that they were ghosted? Because the tribe is called the Ghost Tribe.
I guess.
Sure.
I mean,
nobody saw them coming.
No.
No.
Not at all.
It was kind of a get wrecked noobs moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But William wants to go west of the river, supposedly somewhere that is uncharted, nobody's ever been, and nobody's ever returned from.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you think there's really something there, or do you think that's just like the edge of the park, and that is the story they tell, so nobody goes?
I'm not sure.
I mean, wouldn't more people be curious to be like, well, if nobody's ever returned, let's go.
Well, my only thought is, like, we kind of saw in this episode, one of the panning shots, that, like, their headquarters is built into one of the mountains in that canyon.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's why they don't want people going there, because it's like it's getting awfully close to the control center.
It's completely possible.
That was my thought. I mean, Chrissy and I had that discussion the other night. Like, I was like, isn't that where, like, they are? Why would they let people go there? You know?
Yeah.
So maybe that's why the Native Americans are there.
Could be.
Solid deterrent.
Yeah.
Now, are these the same Native Americans who we think, like, killed Maeve's child in her past life?
Probably.
More than likely.
Actually, the one ghost host. Actually, I think he's in Maeve's memory.
Okay.
The one that's like he doesn't have very much hair and he's completely white from head to.
Okay.
And I mean, they all had tomahawks, but I mean, he just looked more memorable to me. He stood out over the rest of them.
Gotcha.
Maybe because I've seen him before. So.
Could be. But speaking of Maeve, we dealt with her, and I wasn't quite sure if we were in the past or the present at the time that we saw Maeve. I felt like we were in the past, and then they came and took Clementine after she gave off her aspirations of leaving, said she wanted to go somewhere colder. But then the cleaners come in and they take her, saying that she did something wrong or something like that. But Maeve was awake the whole time, right? And then she gets herself shot, and then or something, she injures herself, and then she has Felix fix her up, and demands for Felix to take her to where Clementine is, and watched Clementine actually get retired. Took the drill up the nose into their central processing system or their brain or whatever, to decommission her. So,
a hand drill lobotomy. What fun.
Yeah. But, just before that, we get to see Clementine used as the catalyst for, the Ford retirement plan. When they're like, oh, look, Reverie update, and then they beat the shit out of her, and then they reset her, and they showed off some more, erratic behavior when they tried to do it again. It was, reactionary. That was a robot that she smashed into the wall, right? That wasn't an actual person?
Yeah, it was a host program to do what they needed. Which is, before Ford got there, they could have easily tampered with Clementine's programming to get her to have such an aggressive response after getting beat, after being reset.
That's what they said.
And Bernard even said that. He cornered Teresa. He's like, that had multiple indications of, human tampering all over it. Mm. And
Bernard knows about it, Ford knows about it, believe me.
He's like, it was enough to make me feel, like, as he said, enough to make me feel embarrassed for you. And, that's why if your programmers were any good, they'd be working for me.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, and if I noticed, Ford definitely noticed.
Yeah.
So.
They said it had to do with the memory and the improv working together that was causing these changes. But because it was a setup, we don't know how true that is.
Yeah.
But the whole thing is, I don't know now if obviously Maeve watching Clementine get decommissioned was present day, but I don't know if when we saw Clementine being taken in the first place, if that was present or past.
I think it was present because last episode she had. By the way, I love that their names are Felix and Sylvester, and they work in the same room. Let's just get that out of the way. She had the two of them upgrade her intelligence and make a whole bunch of other fiddly changes, and that showed because they shut the whole room down,
And she wasn't shut down.
she didn't get shut down.
Right.
So this is clearly after the two kitty cats fucking changes in there.
Yeah, well, I didn't know because we've seen her in the past before stay awake during cleaner sessions as well.
Well, she didn't stay. She remembered. Yeah, I guess I don't know. You're right.
Well,
Stayed
she
awake.
woke up in the middle of being cleaned.
Right, that was
I
in
think
present
that's-
day, though.
Yeah.
I'm talking about in the past. We've seen her awake during a cleaner session before in the past. When they were coming to take bodies away, she was still awake.
Yeah, okay.
And she remembered it because
Yeah.
their memories are supposed to wipe if they wake up during any of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was not sure because she was wearing her and Clementine in the past were wearing full-length dresses.
Okay.
Which
I'm
has
going
always
to
been the
debunk
indication
this.
in the past of...
Wait,
Now,
I'm debunking
Maeve
this.
Yeah, go ahead.
wasn't there.
Those dresses can be hiked up
They can.
Right. Oh, I know they can.
all the
Also-
time. Doesn't matter. It can be 10 seconds later. You can hike up the dress to go outside so that you have
Correct.
air flowing into your cooch, and then put it
Correct.
down when you go back into the brothel so you're covered up again.
Correct.
Now-
But the two dresses I'm referring to in the one that I showed you guys a couple episodes ago were completely different dresses.
Right, I
They
am
were
aware
not
of that.
hiked up dresses.
But we've also
But-
had it confirmed that Maeve was only a prostitute for the last year. Like she was only added to that narrative a year ago. She used to be something different, and before that, she didn't exist. She's
Maeve?
Yes, Maeve. We have had that
But we've seen
100%.
Maeve with William.
Mm-mm.
No,
We've
we
seen
haven't.
Clementine with William.
Clementine only. We have never seen Maeve with William. It's you got to go back. I think it's 2 episodes ago or 3 episodes ago. They outright say that Maeve has only been running the Mariposa for a little under a year.
We even talked about it. I think
Oh, yeah,
in
'cause
one of
I'm
our
trying to think,
episodes
'cause
that Maeve is.
It was episode, I want to say 4 when I sprung this on you guys, and I remember going back and it was Clementine's dress specifically
Right,
that I was
yes.
looking at
Yeah.
back and forth.
Yeah.
And then after seeing Clementine and Will interacting, Clementine went into the brothel and was talking to Maeve. So that goes
Yeah.
to show you right there that they time jumped.
Right. And I mean, we don't have this concrete, but we can safely assume for the most part that Maeve's first narrative was the mother of the homestead.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever else after that, I don't know.
It's confirmed that is definite. It was a narrative at one point because when Maeve is first introduced to like being walked around the whole facility, she sees that in a video.
Mhm. Right.
So that was a thing that she did.
Oh, I know she did that. No, I know that for sure.
I really want to know what the incident was at this point because this is like seeming to be far worse.
The incident seems to be the killing of a guest member, and
Yeah.
I want to say it's not going to be Dolores because she would have been decommissioned, so Dolores didn't kill anybody. But I have a feeling what we're gonna see in the past is going to be the partner. What was his name?
Arnold.
Arnold. Yeah. That's
No.
the incident that they're going to be referring to.
Well, what we know of is I think Arnold killed himself before the park ever opened. It was still in beta stages.
We never heard anything about him killing himself. We heard he died in the park.
Well, he's already dead in the past.
Yeah.
So my suspicion was it actually involves Logan dying. in the
Yeah,
park.
I think the incident was I think Logan is going to be the one who gets killed.
Yeah.
Like I've been thinking that for a couple episodes now.
He was left locked in shackles. So
So
in that village.
either he's going to be forgotten about and starved to death, or he's going to get out somehow and meet back up with William and Dolores, and he's going to get killed.
Yeah, I definitely think it's something to do with Logan. I don't see it being William. I don't see William killing him. I don't see Dolores killing him.
No, and I see a host killing him because that's the only way it could be referred to as, such a big.
But it would have to be a prominent host, and it would also have to be a host that does not exist in present day. Because they would have been decommissioned for killing a guest.
You know the new narrative that Ford is working on? Maybe that was an old narrative. And it got after the incident, and he's trying to revive it. Make upgrades to it so that it can be it can be revived.
Yeah.
So this whole thing with Wyatt.
See, I'm not under the impression that Arnold is dead in the past.
Now,
yeah, they mentioned it.
They mentioned that he died before Logan the park ever opened.
Yeah, Logan and William had a conversation.
They specifically said Arnold or a
no.
Creator?
They said the part. One of the guys who co-created this place. He's I forgot how he put it. Something happened before the park opened. He got offed. I forgot the wording he used, but he said you can never find. There's no information. There's not even a picture of this guy.
Right.
And this was Logan to William.
So that does not necessarily mean they were talking about Arnold.
He was the partner of the guy. One of the two guys who created this place. And considering Ford's still alive, who else is he talking about?
Arnold.
We don't know that there were only two people, though.
They've said it multiple times that it was just the two of them that created it, that started the whole thing.
They've said a lot of things that don't end up being true.
Whatever. This is something they've been throwing at us.
It's an educated guess.
We're all under the assumption that Arnold's still alive somehow. So
somehow,
some form.
That's
we're all
under
the impression.
So if Arnold's still alive now, that means he was still alive in the past.
Right, exactly. But everybody thought he was dead.
Correct.
You can be reported dead and
as far as the
locked up
public
somewhere
record,
and still look dead.
As far as the public record is concerned, he was dead in the past.
Right.
Yeah,
so I think that was all a sham, and he's going to die in the park in the past. And then he's going to be replaced with a robot in the present of himself. Ford's going to have an AI, or what they saw Arnold die was an AI, and actual Arnold is still alive. One of the two.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you think for a moment Ford hasn't already created a copy of himself in robot form,
he has.
I'm current Ford, not
baby
Ford.
Current Ford. Yeah, you're right. Because
you're going to be very disappointed if you think he has not done that yet. Because I can guarantee you he has. He set all kinds of safety precautions up.
I have a strange feeling he already is.
The one walking around right now is Robot Ford, and Ford is just sipping wine somewhere.
Or dead.
Watching what's going
Remotely controlling it.
That would make sense with how much control over the host he has. Just to be linked to them already would be.
Yeah, either that or some kind of implant or something like that.
We've seen him shut them off without even
waving
or moving or anything. He just walks into the room and they shut down sometimes.
Well, I know, but I've noticed, I forget if it was with the Man in Black or previously to that, he shuts, he points with Teresa when he took her out to that lunch. He went like this with his finger and everything froze.
Right.
And then when he put his finger down, they all resumed their actions.
Right.
So I don't know.
One time I've seen him walk into a room and they just shut off. Without him doing anything other than walking.
Doing little hand commands, or it could be an implant, like John said, or
it's got to be something to that, because even a hand command, a robot's not going to be able to see that from miles away working in the field.
Right.
Maybe there's some kind of implant in his finger.
Maybe it's just a motion or something,
Yeah.
I don't know.
They gotta be linked to some kind of implant. That's the only way that they're gonna be able to react to a motion command from miles away.
Right.
Yeah.
So
now, keep going. But we'll finish this up.
But I don't know.
I have
Bernard's been fired, very publicly in front of lots of people. So what is Ford gonna do now if he can't get Bernard?
Hire him back. Or just, he's a robot, so why not just send him out, do some recon or something? I don't know.
If we think he's building a Teresa bot, she can just be like, we decided to retire him. Just,
Yeah, but I don't think that Miss Hale is going to like that too much.
Well, Miss Hale might be a robot.
You
Everybody
said
might be a
this-
robot.
You said this already, but as Ford also said, the board will do nothing. Like, he's
Yeah.
so confident
What if the
that
whole
they're
board
not.
is a robot?
There is no board, and it's just
What are
like
we watching? Battlestar Galactica? For fuck's sakes!
that's
Chris
pretty
said
much what we are watching at this point.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Fucking
you
Cylons
can't trust
everywhere.
anybody now.
No,
No.
seriously, all they need is for,
See,
one
this
of
was
these
the-
things to transfer their consciousness into a new body when they die, and you have a Cylon. They are literally one little,
It's like
That's what
feature
Arnold
away.
is.
it's like
Arnold
the
is a Cylon.
it's like the Sixth Day with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
That was completely different.
No,
but
it's transferring their consciousness.
right, from a printed like backup that they made. So it's not a true copy. A Cylon is, when they die, their brain is like flash scanned and
I
transmitted
know.
across space.
I know how Cylon works. I said it's like. I didn't say it was the same thing.
Okay.
The word like
Sorry.
means similar.
I have
Mm-hmm.
finish this up. I have a theory. I cannot stay until the end of the episode.
What do you mean? You mean the end of this episode of
Yes,
us
until
talking?
the end of us talking. Yes,
Okay.
because it involves the promo for next week.
Right.
Right.
Okay. But the entire board, honestly, could be robots that he's just assigning to make it feel like to other people that he doesn't have all the power, so he can get into their heads and find out what they're thinking. Because that's how he knows with Teresa whether or not he can trust her, is if, say, Miss Hale and the rest of the board are, in fact, robots, right? And then they're talking to Teresa, and they're like, look, we got to shut Ford down, we got to do this. If Teresa was like, no, we can't do that, like, what he's doing is good, Ford would be able to trust her.
Mm-hmm.
But since she sided with Miss Hale now, all of a sudden, Teresa's out of the picture. So it's
Right.
possible that this board was put into place by Ford to make it seem like he doesn't have as much power as he actually does.
Mm.
I think it's just, that's too much conspiracy. You're overthinking it
I mean,
because
Ford.
you can.
It's Ford.
If this is the company Delos that Logan and William work for, then it's likely, because as Logan said, we're trying to figure out if we want a controlling stake in this place, right?
Mhm.
So let's assume, let's just say that happened, and whatever happened, they got their controlling stake. That's the board of directors from an outside company that already existed before Ford did all of this. So crazy shit, but I don't see how he feasibly could have replaced some of the board with robots. Like, I don't know.
I mean,
Very
it's
slowly,
possible.
one at a time.
It's even possible that because Delos whatever became a partner or a contributor to the park, that they could have slowly been gaining the resources and the information of how to make their own hosts, and instead of sending their board, they send hosts of their board.
Maybe.
Don't know. Maybe for all we know that Felix and Sylvester are in fact robots. Everybody's a robot now, just so you know. Everybody.
Well,
that's
you know what?
stupid.
Automation, that's a thing, and it saves money. That's maybe one way the park is still up and running.
I mean, when it becomes cheaper to 3D print and make a human stand-in that can 100% last, pass for human, when it becomes cheaper to do that than build an actual cyborg, then, I don't know where I was going with that. It's just something scary in my mind. Like,
I've
that's
been
how
doing it for
far
a while.
that's how advanced their technology is, that making a human from scratch is cheaper than making a robot, like an actual robot.
Yep. Yeah, it's scary. So anything else for this episode?
Someone needs to save Elsie.
Yeah,
Right,
like
exactly. Now, if it wasn't malicious, the data stealing, then is Elsie safe? Did they just kidnap her and throw her into a corporate
I think
office somewhere?
Bernard took her because
Ford
subconscious
may have taken
Ford
her.
would Well, no, Ford wouldn't have taken her. He would have gotten Bernard to do it, and Bernard could easily not recollect it because Ford asked him to do it.
The only reason I'm gonna suspect Ford right now is because we only know one place in the park that the comms don't work, and that's in the new bunker that we've discovered that Ford has.
And it's in like his area, that area or
the
whatever.
Only place we've ever seen so far where the comms do not work. So my mind is instantly gonna jump there for that logic.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also
not to say that he did, but that's the only evidence we have.
I'm also going to say that she's probably safe.
Yeah.
Because if it was Ford that took her, Ford doesn't want his intellectual property stolen by the company. That's why he keeps no backups off-site. So
unless she's also a robot because she's been working so close to Bernard.
I swear to God.
Oh, I need Elsie.
She seems like all her findings she reports it directly to Bernard and keeps from everybody else. So that could be another programming.
I mean, Bernard was so sophistically programmed that he fooled everybody.
Including himself.
Including himself, the head programmer. So I'm probably going to guess that he had her fooled too.
Oh, yeah. No, it's completely possible. But I'm saying it's also completely possible she's also a robot.
Mm-hmm.
It's possible that everybody's a robot. It's possible that we haven't even seen one single human being on this show.
Go on. Except the Man in Black.
Who could also be a robot. He could be a robot of William who died. But anyway, next episode is called Trace Decay. Bernard struggles with a mandate. Maeve looks to change her script. And Teddy is jarred by dark memories.
Now, this show is getting Game of Thrones popular when they have Game of Thrones level fucking synopses. Mm-hmm. As in a couple of words for each character.
It's just HBO. It
so
has nothing to do with Game of Thrones.
No, but their synopses used to be more, complicated.
Yeah, well, you know what? All networks do that as they get closer to the end of their fucking series. They don't want to reveal the ending.
Anyway, I think Nikki before, and I couldn't bring this up then because I didn't want to get into the promo. I think she nailed it on the head with this whole narrative that Ford is building was a past narrative that got destroyed because of the incident. And the reason being, if you watch the actual preview for next episode, Dolores and William arrive at a town that is the town that Wyatt and Teddy massacre and everybody in. Also, in that town center is the church that we see Ford building in episode 2.
Mm-hmm.
So if this is supposed to be the past, why would he have to build a church that already existed?
Unless it's not the past and it's actually the future.
Who the fuck knows? But I think
between the bullshit with the past and future and everybody's a fucking robot, I'm going to gut somebody right now.
Exactly. I think Nikki was 100% right with that.
I think we need to erase her programming, wipe her memory, and deactivate the reveries.
Yeah. Just get into software.
Yeah, just take her back, one level of software update.
So what you're saying is ship me back to Canada.
No, see, one of you guys can do it because when they were programming her personality, statistics, someone took the violence category and cranked it to 20. So I'm just gonna sit over here and watch with popcorn.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Yeah, we'll get Felix and Sylvester on that.
Yeah, we'll have them do it.
The Cat Brothers.
Anyway, that's all for this week.
They are easily manipulated, so that's fine and dandy.
John, where can the people find you?
You can find my mind being blown at no more on Twitter.
Mike, where can the people hopefully remain to find you?
They can find me slipping slowly into madness because of this show on Twitter at Philidrin, right there.
And Nikki, where can the people find your latest software updates?
On Twitter at LadyVenom24, LadyYVENOM24.
Nikki, I wish you a deep and dreamless slumber.
You can find me down below at Phenomenon, PHENOMEDOM. You can find us all and more, including robots, on As Seen on TV podcast, on Facebook, Gmail, G+, Twitter, MySpace, and right here on YouTube for some more podcasts for some of your favorite TV shows, games, and movies. Until next time. Beep, boop, beep, boop.
Honey, what would have been awesome is if you rolled with it and just passed out at your desk.
I did that last night. I don't need to do it again.
Good point.